everyone, how's it going? It's Scott here from CanGeek Games and Collectibles. Welcome back to CanGeek's As Fate Would Have It game here on the CanGeek YouTube channel and the CanGeek Games and Collectibles Facebook page. I'm once again joined by these three amazing people who I haven't seen in a few weeks. That being Greg, Anthony, and, well, Chris, who I see every day. But it is good
Can't
to
win them all.
Oh, yeah, okay. Anyways, it is good to see you guys. Welcome back. And we are just going to do a very quick recap of where we left off a few weeks ago with session 6, as this is the beginning of session 7. So, very quickly to remind you all of what happened as we concluded the last session. You guys were in the process of trying to question a very stubborn Clint Dufresne with Joseph Uzma and his men hot on your tail. The game session ended in a less than enviable position for Pete, who is currently starting this game session in the shower. Um, Meanwhile, all of you have taken refuge at a dig site outside of the metropolitan area that your adventure is taking place in. This is a dig site that Maya works at. The dig site currently is unoccupied, and you have hidden your vehicle behind a billboard, and you are on the upper level of the underground dig site, currently taking refuge in a construction trailer. Pete is washing the gunk off of him right now. The two of you are waiting for Pete to emerge from the shower. And as we concluded the last session, Clint Dufresne began to say to you, "This is not how it was supposed to happen." Between the Brotherhood of Fate and Joseph Uzma, I was stuck in the middle. And this, my friends, is where we begin. So currently, Mr. Dufresne is sitting in a chair where you folks have positioned him. Um, Pete is now emerging from the shower looking better than he did when he went in. However, it is very important to note that Pete is once again feeling the consequences of the concussion that he sustained the night before, as Heinrich's special medicine has worn off. You are sitting in this construction trailer right now. Maya has previously established that this is the upper level of the dig site. There is a service elevator just outside the trailer that will take you down to the lower level where the dig was actually taking place. And as per last game session, just to confirm a couple more things, you also confirmed, Maya, that there is only one way in and one way out of this dig site, and that is the service elevator that you may decide to use to go down to the lower level to conduct your questioning. We also established at this point that you have discarded any cell phones or any other potential devices that may allow Joseph Uzma to firmly track your whereabouts. So, folks, my question for you is, where do we go from here?
Well, let's question Dufresne.
Okay. Where do you intend to question Dufresne? Are you doing it in the utility trailer? Are you going to get on the service elevator and take refuge in the lower level of the dig site?
Let's take to the trailer. We are still underground and there's no cell phone signals or anything of sort coming in and out.
Okay. And who amongst you is going to question Dufresne?
Oh, well, I can take a shot at it. I have a few questions of my own to ask.
Okay.
If you
So
gentlemen want to step in afterwards, you can feel free to do so.
I've done my terror. I'm fine for the day.
I'm 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 waiting to see
Pete's
how.
not feeling that great, so
Yeah, I'm
he's
waiting to.
looking
Hey,
for
I
some
can give you another
Pepto
shot if you want
Bismol.
one.
Pete's looking for some Pepto Bismol.
All right. So
Not sure that's
Uh,
going to help, but hey.
Industrial strength Imodium might be more applicable. Okay.
all right. So Maya, you're taking point on the questioning of Clinton Douglas Dufresne. Go ahead.
All right. So, Dufresne, we have a few things to talk about here, and I would suggest you be forthcoming with the information.
He looks at
So,
you. He looks at you. He looks across the room at Heinrich, and then he immediately turns his gaze to Pete, and he looks back at you and he says, "You people are all fucking sick." He says, after seeing what that son of a bitch went through, pointing at Pete, he says, "Ask."
your line cut out.
Okay. He's
Sorry.
so he looks at you, takes a glance at Heinrich, and then
Hmm.
immediately looks across the room and points at Pete. He says, "You people are all fucking sick." He said, after seeing what that son of a bitch just went through, just ask.
Oh, that sounds great. Okay, so first of all, what? Why us? Why are we involved in this? What is this that we're involved in? Start from the beginning now and start talking.
Okay? So he looks at you and he says, "Why are you asking me?" He said, "You should already know the answer to that. My cafe was only where the drop off point was. You were brought to me originally by Uzma. I don't know what your connection to Uzma is. Not for sure. Only rumors that I've heard." He said, "But the
What
truth,"
rumors?
he says, "the truth is, when you came through the door, I was nothing more than a middleman. I was directed to provide you with what you needed to do what you had been hired to do by Mr. Uzma. What that was, in the beginning, I had no clue. I
And
was
now?
I was told to give you any research material you needed," he says to you, Maya. He looks at Pete. He says, "I was told to give that guy any munitions he needed." And then he looks at Heinrich and he says, "I was instructed to give that piece of shit any resources he needed without question. So you should already know what your connection is."
Well, why is it that we don't know then? What were we doing at that warehouse when we first woke up with all these bloody people around us? What happened?
Okay,
Start talking.
give me one quick second here, okay?
Hmm.
I just want to confirm one thing. So it is going to be careful. Perfect. Okay. So Maya, he looks at you and he says, "Again, I don't know. I was just the middleman. You were brought to me by Uzma. He told me what I was to do with you. I was to help you in any way that I was instructed to do so. What he hired you to do, I had no clue, like I ever do with that man. I was told to provide you with material and resources and nothing more."
And
He said it wasn't until the Brotherhood approached me, if you can call my interaction with them an approach, that I finally realized what you were involved in, or what I think you're involved in. But
and what is
I
that?
also saw my own opportunity here. So
What do you think we're involved in?
he looks at you and he says, "Aren't you supposed to be some kind of archaeologist or something as he looks around this construction trailer that you're questioning him in. He says, how could you not hear the name Skald and immediately connect it with some form of mythology? I mean, I was told you're supposed to be the top individual in your field of study. Lady, you seem pretty fucking dumb to me.
Hey,
He
you
looks
watch
at
how
you, he
you're
goes, you
speaking
all
to
look
me.
pretty
What
fucking
do
dumb
you
to me.
know? What are we involved in? What did you find out from this brotherhood?
He goes, I can't believe I have to tell you this. Some fucking archaeologist you are. He says,
It's not about
he,
me.
he,
Answer
he,
my
he
questions
looks at you,
now.
he says, how many of you know anything about Norse mythology? Okay, Heinrich shoots his hand up in the air. He looks at the doctor. He goes, and why am I talking to her? Why aren't I talking to you? He says,
How about you
regard,
just keep talking?
regardless of what you call the individual, you call her Clotho, you call her Skald. He says, every ancient culture has their belief in fate and in mythology. The problem with us human beings is we don't want to take responsibility for our own actions and the outcomes of our lives. He said, so we would rather turn to invisible deities who we can blame when shit just doesn't go the way we want it to go. He says, who fucking knew that these deities weren't as invisible or make believe as we thought they were? He said, how do
Heinrich,
you?
do you have something to give this delusional person to get what information out of him?
He looks at you, he says, lady, are you stupid?
No, are you?
He says, listen to what I'm saying. Stolid, or Clotho, or whatever you want to call her, is not an invisible deity. Have you never questioned how some dirt poor shit for nothing individual like Joseph Uzma rose to power the way he did? He says, you can't extend your arms in any direction in this country without somehow coming in contact with something that asshole has his hands in. You think it was through hard work? That man
I
is
really don't care.
that man is manipulative. That man is power hungry. And in this particular case, that man uses mythological deities and their sources of power to gain what he wants in this world. And he says, right now, what that man wants is control not only over his own fate, but control over your fate, and your fate, and your fate, and my fate. Maya, do me a favor. Give me a clever row, please.
Clever roll, yes. Okay, I've got a +2, so
Okay, so you have a +2, and what's your clever?
3,
Okay,
so total 5.
so while this crazy, deranged individual that you have started to believe Dufresne is rambling off about mythological deities and the douchebag that Joseph Uzma is.
Mm-hmm.
You have a flashback of sorts.
Okay.
The flashback you have, you're sitting in a diner and you're sitting there talking to someone, but you cannot make out who the individual is. Like it's kind of like a
Okay.
foggy, grayish haze that they're sitting in.
Okay.
And what you remember this individual saying is, if you do this for me, I can make all your troubles go away. And then like this, you're back to listening to Dufresne ramble on about what an asshole Joseph Uzma is and how he's out to control the world through taking control of mythology. Um, Give me one more clever roll, please, Pete.
Okay.
Okay.
0.
Okay, and what's your clever?
Actually, sorry. See, my roll was a -1, and my clever is a 1. So
Okay. Are you gonna accept that roll for the time being, or do you want to use a fate point to reroll?
considering the way Pete's feeling and stuff like that, he probably would, because with his concussion and stuff.
Okay, fair enough. Um, so Maya,
Hmm.
Dufresne continues to ramble on about um, fate and humanity not taking responsibility for their own actions. You've kind of started to tune out this guy at this point. You're not convinced that he's being completely forthcoming with you, okay?
Yeah. Right. Yes. Yeah.
Because what's coming out of his mouth sounds absolutely ridiculous. It sounds like the ramblings of a crazy man.
Yep.
So at this point, you either need to take control of this conversation again through your line of questioning, or he's just going to continue rambling on about gods and monsters and mythological beings.
Well, what if he is
All right.
right? What if he's right? What is? I mean,
And what if
this.
he's wasting our time and distracting us?
Why would he? His henchmen are dead.
Because
He's got no one left. For what
well, he
reason
wouldn't
would he?
benefit from help.
I'm gonna say
He
he has
would,
nothing to lose now.
Okay,
and he has nothing to gain from
so
helping us.
at this point, I need all of you to give me a clever roll, please.
3.
1.
Okay, so Anthony, you said yours was a 3?
Total 3. Yep.
Okay. Greg, yours was a 1?
1.
Uh,
Yep.
And
yeah, my
Chris?
total is a 1.
Okay, so Heinrich, as you are suggesting to Maya and Pete that there might be some validity to what Dufresne is rambling on about, you also have a flashback. You are sitting in a diner at a table. Across from you is this individual that you cannot make out either. He is shaded in this foggy gray. You have no way of determining who this person is, but you remember them saying, you have a lot of people that would like to take custody of you, Doctor. If you help me with this, I can make all of your worries go away. You would never have to look over your shoulder again. And like that, you come back to reality. And, Maya's standing there going on about how there's no way any of this crap that Dufresne is rambling can even be remotely true.
Okay.
So, Dufresne's still rambling, folks. Somebody better get this guy on course.
Who's the interrogator? That would be you.
Yes. So, Heinrich, I'm going to ask you again. Do you have any special juice that will get him talking properly and not rambling? Or do I need to shake the sense into him again?
So, Dufresne hears that, and all of a sudden he goes dead quiet for a second. And then he looks at you and he says, Lady, I told you already. I'm not gonna go through the same shit that that guy went through. And he points at Pete.
Then
He
you better
says,
start talking.
I am talking, you're just not listening.
Okay, try again in English.
Are
It
you an
has to
arch-
make sense.
are you an archaeologist?
Yes, I am. This is not about me, though.
It
Just
is
tell me what you
it, it,
know.
it is
What do
about
you think
you.
we're involved in? Okay, what are we involved in? What did the Brotherhood tell you we were involved in?
Finally,
Because look, if
finally you're asking the right questions.
well, you start talking
The
because if
Brotherhood
you're
of
not
Fate,
giving us,
the Brotherhood of Fate are charged with
hmm
protecting you and I. They're charged with making sure that the checks and balances of the reality that we live in stay in place.
what's
They're
that supposed to mean?
okay. You like to believe, like many people in your generation, that you are in control of your own life. You don't want to accept even the remote possibility that there are higher powers out there that are pulling your strings when there actually are.
Okay, explain.
In this particular case, the
Like,
Brotherhood,
really?
the Brotherhood is responsible for making sure that we stay in line, that we don't screw with the natural order of things. So when they caught wind that Uzma was looking for the power base of the goddess of fate, they approached me and they told me that if I valued my existence, if I valued the existence of my family, if I valued the existence of the world as we know it, that I would feed them any information necessary to stop Uzma from obtaining his goals. I was reluctant. Who the fuck are these people? Why in the hell would I want to fight the hand that feeds me in the form of Joseph Uzma? That man has buried people like me without a second thought. But then they promised me that they would make it worth my while. And I saw an opportunity. So I may not know exactly how you became employed by Joe Uzma, but I know what's best for Clint Dufresne. And I know what's best for me is to give the Brotherhood what they want. And if what they want is you free sorry sacks of shit, then I'm going to give you to them. And in this particular case, I did. When you came back into my diner that night, when Uzma dropped you off at my front door, I don't know what the hell happened to the three of you in that limo, but you sure as hell were not the three people that I met the first time Uzma brought you to me. So I told you to do some research because that's what I was instructed to do by Uzma. I sent you the next morning on the trip to that library, didn't I? I said to you, maybe you should do some research. I shouldn't have to tell a renowned archaeologist like you to do research, but I did, didn't I? Because you're not very good at your job, are you? So why do you think that there were members of the Brotherhood waiting for you outside the library that day? Who do you think told them that you would be there? Me, because I know what's best for me. But then you people had to go and fuck it up again, didn't you? Instead of just going with them. What did you do? This dumbass over here, pointing at Pete, had to go and kill some of them. So now, because the Brotherhood thinks that I fucked them, and Uzma thinks that I fucked him, my life is forfeit. Now I have to get out of town. I have to leave everything behind. Because one way or the other, whether it's Uzma or the Brotherhood, Clint Dufresne is a dead man thanks to the three of you. So put a bullet in me and do me a favor. Because at this point, it'll be a mercy killing.
Heinrich, that's your cue. Go for it. I don't do the dirty work.
What do you think, Pete?
I was going to say, do you think there's still stuff he's not telling us about?
I'm sure there is, but he's not talking.
Well, the stuff that's probably not relevant to us
Pete,
at this point.
do me a favor. Give me a clever roll.
Ooh. A 4.
Perfect. So, Clint, as you say to, or sorry, Clint, jeez, now I'm doing it. Pete, as you say to Heinrich and Maya, do you think there's something he's not telling us? You start to have a flashback. You're sitting at a diner. Across the table is this individual. You can't make out their face. But what you clearly remember them saying to you is, you're on the run. And it would be a real shame if the people you're running from found you. How long have you looked over your shoulder now for a crime that you didn't commit? Imagine what it would be like if you could just sweep it all aside and take control of your own life. And like that, the flashback's over, and you're back to listening to Maya and Heinrich debate over whether or not Dufresne is being upfront with the three of you.
Question about the flashback.
Yes.
Does the voice ring a bell?
Give me a clever row.
2 in total.
No.
Okay.
No, it doesn't. It's muffled. Like you can make out the words, but
Yeah, that's what it sort of figured.
it sounds like someone is talking to you through a tin can. So you can make out what they're saying, but it's muffled enough that you can't actually confirm the tone or the pitch of the voice. So at this point, Uzma is confirmed to have been the individual that brought the three of you together. Dufresne has been rambling on about, crazy mythological nonsense that Heinrich seems inclined to believe, and Maya thinks is absolute BS. And now Dufresne has gone silent. He's just sort of slumped in the chair, looking around the room, taking everything in, and not saying anything else at this point. So, what next, folks?
Well, let's assume
we were
he's telling
just
the truth.
debating.
Let's assume he's telling the truth.
Okay.
Then we have two options. We can either run or we can take down Uzma. Because otherwise, he's not going to stop chasing us. The Brotherhood, either way, is going to be on our tail or helping us, or both. And we can't keep running from everyone forever.
Hmm.
So, go to Clint. Ask him, where's Uzma's headquarters? Where is he based? Where does he work from? Where's his office?
Okay, so Dufresne looks at you, Heinrich, with that line of questioning. He says, I don't know. He says, Uzma only ever contacts me by phone, by cell phone, and it is always an unlisted number. He tells me where and when we will meet. He does not give me opportunity to meet him. Everything is always on Joseph Uzma's terms. Everything.
Well, Uzma wants Clint dead. We can use him as bait.
Yep. One problem with that, you destroyed all your cell phones and made it very
No, no, no,
clear.
no, no, no. There's always a way. But
Okay.
yeah, but again, you know, we could use Dufresne as bait to lure Uzma in, or we
Yeah.
can, you know, as I said, we have two options. We can run, or we can try and take down Uzma. Figure out what he wants first, get what he wants, and use it against him,
Hmm.
or B, I mean, because Uzma is apparently showing some ability of magic. He snaps his fingers, shit happens.
Hmm.
So that means that chances are Clint's not blowing hot air. Something's going on that we
Heinrich,
don't know.
give me a clever roll, please.
Okay. 3 total.
Okay. Um, ask Dufresne about the snapping of the fingers.
What happened? Okay, well, what happens when when Uzma snaps his fingers? Something always seems to happen.
Dufresne looks at you and says, yes, things happen or people die. Be more specific.
What happens when he snaps his fingers? What is going on?
What are you talking
How does
about?
he make it happen?
He, you mean this? He snaps his fingers. Just like you and I, he snaps his fingers. Be more specific. Your questions are stupid.
When he
So,
snaps his fingers, the people pass out. How about that?
How does he make it happen?
oh,
How did he make us pass out in the car when he snapped his fingers?
did he make you pass out? So, guys, remember, Dufresne doesn't know that he did that. Okay, he told you already that he has only ever interacted with you twice. The first time when Uzma brought you to his cafe and told him to give you anything you needed, but the second time he interacted with you was after your interaction with Uzma in the limo. So Dufresne does not actually know that when Uzma did this in the limo, y'all snapped out. So what
But he
my
knows something about the
yeah,
snapping of
so
the
what
fingers,
Maya
what he
just
does.
said to him, how did he snap his fingers and make Gus pass out? Dufresne looks at you and he goes, he did that? With kind of a look of shock on his face.
Mm-hmm. Does Uzma use some kind of magic? Where's that magic tied to? Is it him? Is there a device? Is he wearing a magic item? Is he? Is it technology? What is it?
Okay, So Dufresne looks at you and he says, "You haven't been listening to me at all, have you? I've already told all of you. Uzma likes power. He finds his power wherever he can. In this particular case, in the power base of ancient mythologies.
But how does he link to it?
I don't know.
Well, what's his relationship with the Brotherhood then?
Okay, so he looks at you, Pete, and
You know,
he says, Uzma's only relationship to the Brotherhood is right now they both want the same thing
And what do they
for
want?
different reasons. They want the power of fate. Uzma wants it to accomplish his own goals. The Brotherhood wants to protect all of us from it.
Is it an item? Is it a person? Is it some type of candy? Is it food? Is it
Okay, perfect. All of you give me a clever roll right now, please.
Okay. Whoops. Ouch.
2?
Uh, 3.
-1.
Okay,
Yeah.
Maya,
Yes.
as Heinrich is questioning Dufresne and asking him if it's an item, if it's candy, if it's food, you remember that your initial interaction with Uzma that night after the slaughter in the warehouse, he started questioning you about whether or not you had found the medallion.
Okay.
So, as Heinrich is questioning Dufresne about that, that immediately returns to you. So, you may want to communicate to your party members that you remember him questioning the three of you about where was this woman and whether or not you found the medallion yet.
Which woman?
Squid, right?
Or
That was the
Scald,
name?
yeah. Yeah, Scald.
It's called. Okay. Hey guys, I just remembered something. That night at the warehouse, Uzma was asking about the medallion and if we had found Squat. Do you remember
Squat?
that?
Well, we definitely found
Squat.
Squat.
Squeak, Squat.
But
Scullid.
wait, what?
Scullid.
Who was he
Oh,
asking about the medallion?
Scullid.
Scald. So, all right. Well, who is Scald? Does she have a social insurance number?
So,
How do we find somebody?
are you actually asking Dufresne that?
No, I'm not asking Dufresne that.
Okay.
So, but how do we, like, to you guys? I mean, like, how do we find somebody? Right? You're talking about a needle in a haystack.
Hmm.
One needle in a haystack of 7 billion people. How do you find somebody?
Well,
Somebody you know nothing about. Well, not much.
seems to me like
Mm.
you folks only have one of two courses of well, actually no, you have three courses of action. It's just how do you want to play it? You either dangle Dufresne out there as bait and try to go up against Uzma directly. Um, you try and figure out more about this Brotherhood of Fate that Dufresne has now told you about, or the three of you pack your bags and run like hell.
Hmm. I see we used your friend as bait and go up
No,
against Uzma and stop
not worth it.
running.
Not worth it.
What, you want to keep running? You want to keep running? They'll keep
Nope,
coming
not
after
run.
us.
We could always use an extra gun.
Well,
this guy has nothing left to to be afraid of,
and bear in
right?
mind that
He's
Dufresne has already told the three of you that he is trapped in the middle right now
hmm
between Uzma and the Brotherhood. And Dufresne is convinced that it doesn't matter who gets to him first, he's the dead man.
yeah, which means that he can either A, die quietly, or B, die loudly. Chances are, most people, if given a choice, will probably try to die loudly.
Well, you can still use him as bait for Brotherhood
Of course, he's
and see who
bait.
gets there
Please, of
first,
course he's bait. That's not the question. The question is, do we
right?
arm him and let him, distract Uzma long enough for us to figure out or go or find whatever this person or medallion is, right? If you were somebody who had a medallion of incredible value and you wanted to hide, where would you hide?
Probably be in plain sight, like in a museum or something like that.
Okay, if
Or
they're at the
maybe in this
museum,
dig. What if it's at this dig site?
okay, well, is this dig site related to Norse mythology in any shape, way, or form?
No, but it's where I work, so I'm. Makes sense that I'm hiding things here, but I don't remember. If I can only remember. Hmm.
I was gonna say, I think we should use Clint as bait unless he wants to help us. And because if I was gonna say if Uzma's doing this for his own personal gain, I'm sure that's sort of against what the Brotherhood stands for. Maybe we can try to get the throw Uzma to the Brotherhood.
Is that your professional advice, Pete?
No, I'm just throwing an opinion out.
Hmm?
I Chances are, if the Brotherhood and Uzma know of each other, the question is, do they know each other's goals and objectives? And if we're being used as cat's paws in this case, who knows that we are being used as cat's paws and why? And then the next logical question is, have we found this person yet before we got our memories wiped? Or have we actually been able to, find the lead? Or were we actually actively rebelling against this?
Hmm, good
Do you
question.
know?
But do you think Uzma was trying to use us to get something from the Brotherhood? Maybe.
You sure it would be with the Brotherhood? Because the Brotherhood's after us.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Hmm. So,
So my question for you folks is, what is your next course of action here? So I will tell you at this point, you're going to have got all of the information that Dufresne is willing to offer you. And I'm going to just tell you right now, he really doesn't have anything else to tell you. He knows that
So, so
he,
hold on. If I ask him about the medallion, he wouldn't be able to describe it. That it may jog my memory.
um, you can try if you want. I mean, there's a couple more very direct questions you can ask him. You're going to have to figure out what those are on your own from a game point of view because I'm not going to metagame as a GM here, okay? But other than getting some more very specific details out of him, I will tell you right now that if you ask him anything else about how you became involved in this mess, he's going to tell you the same crap he's already told you because that's all he knows. He knows
Mhm.
that you were brought to him by Uzma initially. He was told to act as a middleman to provide Pete with armaments, to provide you, Maya, with research, and to provide Heinrich with anything that Heinrich said he needed so long as it furthered Uzma's endgame. Okay? Other than that, he's going to tell you that he's wedged in the middle between Uzma and the Brotherhood, and that he feels like it doesn't matter who gets to him first, his life is forfeit. So your questioning from this point onward is going to have to be very specific and very direct, or you're going to get the same yelling, screaming, swearing, and rambling out of this guy.
Okay, I guess I'll give it a shot. Hey, Dufresne,
Yeah,
can you describe the medallion?
it was a tree engulfed by a circle.
Tree engulfed by a circle. And
You,
that's it?
have you ever gone into a jewelry store, lady? Have you ever seen these pieces of
I'm
jewelry?
not.
Have you ever seen these pieces of jewelry that look like a tree of life? I could just,
Right.
yeah, I could describe it like that. It is a tree, kind of, you know, almost like a square pendant like this, not so much a circle, okay? It's a square. It's a tree, and it's got a little hook on the top of it for putting a necklace through. And
So it's a tree in a square.
it looked really old. I was provided with the image initially by Uzma. I was told to help you with any research material related to this medallion. I wasn't told what its importance was. The Brotherhood told me what its importance was.
And what's its importance?
It is the power base for the goddess of fate within our realm. The person that holds that medallion controls everything.
So who has it right now?
I don't know, that's what your job was to do. Your job was to find it and to retrieve it for Mr. Uzma.
But
By
if the person who possesses it can basically twist fate any which way they want, we'll never catch the person.
that's your problem, not mine, isn't it?
And if Uzma snaps his fingers and things happen, doesn't that mean he already has it?
You haven't been listening to
Or
me,
maybe
have
he needs that.
you haven't been listening to me, have you? Uzma finds his roots of power in mythological items. I don't even know what you're talking about with this snapping of the fingers crap. I told you, he snaps his fingers, people do what he wants or people die. What's all this crap about him knocking you out anyways? And you think I'm crazy.
Yes, you are. Hmm.
Okay, anyone else want to take a shot at questioning Dufresne? Anyone else want to ask Dufresne some more direct questions?
There are no direct questions I can think of. How do we kill
Actually,
Uzma?
what was his relationship? Oh,
Pardon me? Sorry, what was that, Greg?
yeah, no. Actually, I'm just trying to understand the relationship with him and the Brotherhood. If he was working for Uzma,
Well,
so
that's
basically, was
so.
he?
So what you remember him telling you is that initially he was working for Uzma,
Hmm.
and after um, meeting you initially and being told by Uzma to facilitate your needs, he was later approached by the Brotherhood, and the Brotherhood told him this wild story about mythological beings and controlling fate within our reality and things like that, and they initially told him a story that he believed about as much as Maya believes it right now. Okay, but they ultimately convinced him that it was within his best interests to feed them, the Brotherhood, any information related to Uzma, his search for this medallion, which by default meant he was feeding the Brotherhood information about the three of you, because as far as he's now confirmed for you, your job was to find this item for Uzma. He even told you that the two individuals that you encountered on the steps of the library were members of the Brotherhood who he had sent to that library to take possession of the three of you.
How do we get in contact with the Brotherhood?
Is that a direct question to Dufresne?
Yep.
Okay. The Brotherhood has a facility located on a rural farm about 90 minutes outside of the city. It looks normal. It looks like a normal, run-of-the-mill farm. None of their neighbors could possibly know what goes on that farm. You don't call them, they contact you. My contact with the Brotherhood was always one way. The only reason I even know that farm is there is because I was required to drive out there one day to meet with them.
Solution simple. The enemy of my enemy is my enemy's enemy.
Right.
So
So
you now know how to contact the Brotherhood. You know that they're on a farm about 90 minutes outside of the city, roughly.
so they may be our only chance at either A, finding this object, whether it's to help them or not, and slash or B, taking out Uzma.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do this. Let's give Dufresne a gun. Give him a choice to go with us to this farm or leave him on his own. Either way, I mean, he can either help us and have a chance to survive, or he can run and try and survive on his own. His odds of survival are higher with us, but that's that's his choice.
I was going
Okay.
to say, are you sure? Okay, so the Brotherhood doesn't have this necklace as well as. I was going to say
If
they're
the
looking
Brotherhood
for.
doesn't have the necklace, we at least have some allies or somebody who may be able to help us take down Uzma before Uzma gets the necklace.
So,
Mhm.
Pete, is that a
Very
direct?
sure.
Is that question directed out of game to Anthony and Chris, or
No, no.
Are you coming out and directly asking Dufresne that question?
Actually, no. I'm asking. I'm asking out loud because I'm just trying to figure out if the Brotherhood. Should we mess with them directly?
You've already messed with them. You killed one of their people.
Well, I know that,
To
but I was gonna. I
Yeah.
was gonna say going to them might be. Maybe we should just work on trying to get the necklace.
And where do you want to start looking?
I don't know, but if they.
If you have nowhere that you can think of to look for that necklace, then we start with a Brotherhood.
No. Hold on. Earlier we were talking about when Uzma was questioning us about the medallion, and we were trying to figure out where it would be in plain sight. What if it is here? We have a couple of storage rooms, and maybe the most obvious place, if we had found it before that explosion, that maybe it's hidden in there, and I just don't remember. Now that we know what it looks like, what if we go looking? If we have it, then we have a better chance of approaching the Brotherhood,
Fun
don't we?
question. Why would it be here?
if I'm trying to hide it in plain sight, if I found it.
Okay, you presuppose you found it. We can look, it won't hurt us.
Okay. Where are these storage rooms? Are they on the upper or lower level of this dig site?
Lower.
Lower level. So you have to take the service elevator to get down there.
Yep.
Do the three of you intend to look?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Yes.
So,
What do
Okay.
we do with
Dufresne,
Dufresne? Can we
So
knock him out?
Dufresne, you know what? We're going to do you a favor. We're going to let you go. You can stick with us and try and help us, or you could run and take your chances on your own.
okay. He looks at
And
you.
what if he brings Uzma directly back to us?
We're dead anyway. Besides, he wants Uzma. Uzma wants Dufresne dead. Killed off all his henchmen. Was going to take him out anyway. One-way contact. So there's no way that Dufresne can contact Uzma, unless, of course, Dufresne was lying.
There is that possibility. Which one of you has the highest clever roll, please?
I've got 3 on the clever.
Crit.
Christiane also has 3 for the
I
I've
have
tradition.
got
one.
Okay, so it's between you and Christiane then. Heinrich and Maya, please each give me a clever roll.
okay. I've got 6.
You got 6.
Yep. I
The
rolled
heck?
3 and
And
number 3.
Heinrich, what did you get?
Uh, -1 on my 3, so I got 2.
Okay. So, yeah, perfect. Okay. So, Maya, that was just suggested by you. What happens if Dufresne was lying and he, in fact, brings Uzma back to you?
Mm-hmm.
Um, you stop and think about this for a moment, and you quickly realize that you really did not get the sense from Dufresne that he's lying. His body language, his tone of voice, everything really leads you to believe that even if you think he's crazy, he really and truthfully believes everything that he just told you. He's
Okay.
convinced that whether it's the Brotherhood or Uzma, someone's going to kill him. And he believes everything that he just told you. That is your gut instinct on this.
All right.
So Dufresne looks at the three of you. He stands up. He does this, shakes off the dirt from his clothes from earlier, and he goes, well, he says, if that's the case, I'm getting out of town right now, and I suggest you sorry sons of bitches do the same thing if you value your existences. And he turns around and he heads right for the exit to that construction trailer you're in. Are you
No,
guys
I'm going to block it.
okay? You block.
Why? No, 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 no. Let's give Dufresne a head start. Let's give him a shot of my happy juice so that he has like 4 hours to go as far and fast as he can. Let's help him.
Sure.
Okay.
Give it to him. Let's
Um.
go.
So hold on though. It's gonna be tread as combat then. So Pete, you said that you're stepping in the way to block him, right?
Yeah, from leaving because we haven't figured out what we wanted.
Okay.
We've
You know,
got a
we've given
lead.
him
We
an
might as well
offer of
follow the
joining us.
lead. This is we're wasting time.
Okay.
So we can
So
do 2 things. We
Okay.
can search the place to see if we can find the medallion here, and then follow it up by going to the Brotherhood. Or B, we just go straight to the Brotherhood if we just don't want to bother searching through the
okay.
place here.
Let's resolve this Dufresne piece first. Then he stood up. He suggested that the three of you get out of town. He's heading for the exit to this trailer. Are you
Okay.
stopping him, Pete, or are you letting him go?
No, I'm gonna block him,
Fine.
block the door,
Okay.
and
So
I'm gonna say to him at the same time, I'm gonna say, if you don't want to be looking over your shoulder for for the rest of your life, why don't you come with us, work with
okay.
us?
So, give me one quick second here. I believe it's going to be this one, yes. Pete, your quick right now is a free, correct?
Yes.
You're going to take a -1 initially to this row because you are still suffering the results of the concussion from the previous evening. Okay?
Yep.
You go to step into Dufresne's way to block him and make that statement to him. Now, as you step in his way, Dufresne decides he's not wasting any time and he's getting the hell out of there. So he's going to give you a shove. Okay? So what I need you to do right now is I need you to roll your quick, please, and then add a -1 to whatever your row is.
Okay. It's a 1. I rolled
Before,
a 0.
okay? So you rolled a
Oh,
0.
sorry. A 2. A 2. A 2.
Is that with the -1?
Yes. I rolled a 0 plus the free quick -1, 2.
So 2. Okay. Yeah.
And when I ask Pete, I'm asking this out loud to get everybody else's opinion too. They say just let him leave, or you want to give him a
Yeah.
shot
What else are we going to do with it?
shit. Okay.
Okay,
Unlike
so
some people here, we don't put holes in people's heads just for no reason.
all right, so Pete, you go to step in his way to make that statement to him. He gives you a shove out of the way. You stumble sideways from the results of that concussion and slump into the corner by the door. He takes a look at you. He bursts out laughing. He goes, "This is what you people have to work with? Good luck to you. You're going to need it." And
Oh! Before you go, can I get a hair sample?
he he looks at you and he goes, "You're all fucking crazy and you deserve whatever you get." And he takes off running out that door. So Dufresne is gone unless someone's gonna take chase after him. He's making a run for it.
He's booking it.
He's booking it.
How fast can he run when he doesn't have a vehicle?
Well, that's the whole thing. Where's he gonna get to? Is anyone gonna try and stop him? Yes, no.
Nope.
No. Why?
No, not me.
Okay, perfect. So, Maya, a couple quick questions regarding your dig site.
Yes.
You said you want to search the utility lockers. So,
Yes.
we're going to assume right now that the elevator to get to the lower level is right where you need it to be. It's at the top. You're going to get on the elevator and you're going to go down to the lower level. The elevator ride is going to take 2 minutes, we're going to say. Okay? When you get
Okay.
down to the lower level to search those lockers, how long is it going to take you to search those lockers realistically for the medallion?
Oh, let's see, about 10, 15 minutes.
In total or per locker?
Okay, so they're storage rooms. They're not lockers.
Okay,
So there's not locks on every locker door. It's a storage room. You go in, it's
that's fine.
shelving and
Yeah, so
boxes.
10 to
So
15, 10 to 15 minutes per room or 10 to 15 minutes per um, in total.
yeah, I'd say 10 to 15 minutes per room. And if we split up, there's 3 rooms. That's one each. We all know what this medallion looks like.
Okay,
Oh,
so are the two of you going to go down and you're going to leave Pete in the trailer to convalesce, or are the three of you going down?
hmm. I'd say 3 of us going down would be faster to look for it. No, you don't agree? You want to leave someone on guard?
Um, since I'm not feeling that good, it wouldn't hurt if I just waited up here.
Unless you want to take some more of Heinrich's happy medicine.
No, 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 no. The next, my next happy
Reject,
That's
medicine
Heinrich.
four
is
hours of
cat.
like bliss.
No, no, no. I will just get a 4 pack of Red Bull next time.
Okay. So then it's the two of you going down. Is that correct?
Apparently.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Okay. Um, are you each going to do one locker or one room each, or are you going to do the rooms together, one room at a time?
Together. It's faster.
Sure.
Okay.
We each take an end.
So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I am going to ask each of you to give me two. Which one do I want to use here? You know what? We are going to use careful. Okay. I'm going to ask each of you to give me two careful rooms. Your careful rooms each equal one per room. So go for it. Let's start with you, Maya. One careful row, please.
Okay. Oh,
My
so I
careful is a
got.
1, so this is gonna suck beans.
Oh, it's sucking already. I've got a -2 and my careful is 2, so I'm at 0.
Okay. The first room you don't.
Unless.
You can use a fate point if you want. That's up to you. Currently, you're sitting at, I believe
Okay,
we said four.
so. Yeah, so hold on. What is the purpose of this roll? What does this roll determine?
You're searching the rooms. I want to see if you find anything.
Okay. Um, that's fine. I
I'm
still have
upstairs
another.
thinking, would it be this easy that this medallion's in there?
Well, you're never gonna know.
Well, it hasn't really been that easy, has it? Anyway, regardless.
Okay, so you're taking the zero.
I'm taking a 0 for now. Yes.
First room, you don't find anything. Heinrich, give me
My
a.
first roll, my careful roll, first one is +1 on my 1, so I've got a 2 total.
Heinrich, in the first room, you find a wallet laying on the floor. When you open the wallet, there is 500 bucks in cash in the wallet.
ID?
Nope. Well, yeah, it's generic ID. You can say it's whoever you want it to belong to. It's just one of the people that has worked at this dig site lost their wallet with 500 bucks in $20 bills in the wallet.
Bonus!
Uh-huh. Okay, next.
So if you want, you can add that to your inventory. Next room, Maya. Give me a careful roll, please.
Okay, my careful is total.
Sorry, what's your careful?
Total 3. I rolled a
Three.
1 and my careful is 2.
Okay. So Maya, the second room, you are cracking open boxes and crates looking for this medallion, and you don't find the medallion, but you do find yourself a ornate dagger. So the dagger itself is about the blade's about 6 inches long. The hilt of the dagger is made out of gold with some very sparkly looking jewels uh, outlining the hilt of the dagger. Do you take it or are you leaving it?
I'm taking it.
Add it to
I'm
your
sure it'll come in handy.
add it to your inventory, please. Heinrich, last row, please.
0.
You don't find anything.
Okay.
Okay, so there's nothing here related to that medallion that you're gonna find, but you walked out with five. Did you take the 500 bucks?
Yep, I took the 500.
Okay, so
Plus, of
just
course, there are 3 rooms. We've only checked
now,
2 rooms, right?
was there two or three? Sorry.
There are 3 rooms.
It's a 3.
Okay, let's do the third room. Maya, row your row.
Okay, careful roll. Wow, okay. I got a roll of three, and then my careful is two, so I'm at five.
Okay. You're going through the filing cabinet in one of these storage lockers. Okay. You find a sealed envelope inside the filing cabinet. When you open the envelope, it is a shipping manifest. The details on the manifest itself are not important. It's just, this is stuff that's being shipped out of the dig site. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What
Yeah.
what does catch your attention though is the name at the top of the manifest. The shipping manifest notes that the materials that are on this manifest are being shipped to Uzma Industries.
Ah,
Okay? Now,
okay.
when you look at the address, you realize that the shipping address that this stuff is going to is Clint Dufresne's Cafe.
All right.
Heinrich, give me your row, please.
1 plus 3, 4.
Okay, Heinrich, you are going through the same room. You are tearing open boxes and crates, and in one of the crates, you find a pistol, fully loaded at that. It does not look like it belongs there because it is a gun in a crate surrounded by archaeological finds. So it's definitely out of place to find that gun in that crate. What type of gun is it, Heinrich?
I don't know. Um.
Pick one.
Oh, why not? A Luger PO8.
Okay. So you find a Luger. Are you taking it or leaving it in that crate?
Hell yeah, the thing's worth next best thing to about $16,000.
Perfect. So you take the Luger. Okay. So to be very clear, you each found two things that you can add to your character sheets as being part of your inventory. Heinrich found 500 bucks in a wallet and he found a Luger. Maya found an ornate dagger with a gold base and studded jewels in the hilt of the dagger. And she also found a shipping manifest. The contents of the manifest are meaningless. It's just stuff that they found while doing this dig. But the big part of that manifest is that this material was being shipped to Clint Dufresne's warehouse at the back of his cafe, and the receiver information was Uzma Industries.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so those were the free rooms. What are we doing now, folks? Are you making your way back up to see Pete and make sure he's okay?
I guess.
Okay, so you get up to the construction trailer where Pete was waiting for the three of you. Nothing has really changed. Pete's sitting there convalescing, and now you need to make a choice as to where you go next.
Hmm.
So,
Rather
are
heard
you
yes. Try.
you're heading for
Well,
the
there's always the option to head back to Dufresne's warehouse to see if that package has arrived.
Maya? Give me a clever roll.
And so that
Uh,
sounds like a
did,
good plan.
did the manifest have a date of when it was shipped?
Give me a clever roll.
Oh, jeez. One.
Okay. Are
Like
you?
my total dropped to one.
That's fine. Are you accepting that, or do you want to use a fate point to reroll?
I'm gonna use a fate point to reroll.
Okay.
That's too low.
So keep in mind, then you are down to 3 fate points now. Please track that on your character sheet.
Okay.
and then give me a reroll.
Okay, that's a little better. So my clever is up to 4 now.
Okay. So when Heinrich suggests whether or not you should go back to Dufresne's warehouse to see if that package has arrived, you realize that the contents of that shipping manifest really hold no value to anyone. It was just a lot of, like ceramic pots and things like that. Just stuff that you found on the dig site that, really belongs in a museum more than anywhere else. Um, you can question why it was being shipped to Uzma. I will
But
tell you right now, the likelihood of why it was being shipped to Uzma was because Dufresne was going to fence it for Uzma. But in relation to what you're all dealing with, Maya, you immediately determined that the only real value in the manifest you found was that products from this dig site are being quietly laundered to Uzma instead of going to where they initially were supposed to go to.
so can I not question whether the manifest is legit? The fact that, what if there was something else in that shipment that was not listed in the manifest?
Yeah, if you think that's a possibility, you're welcome to pursue that possibility.
Well, yes, if there is, something valuable such as a medallion,
Sure.
it's probably not going to be listed on the manifest, is it?
So you can
Now, does the manifest have a shipping date? When was it sent?
2 days ago.
Who sent it?
2 days.
It was sent by the head of the dig, a doctor,
And was it sent?
a Doctor Wilfred Barnes sent it. And Maya, you will recognize that as being the name of the dig supervisor who you directly report to.
Hmm. Okay, and was it express?
No, no,
So it may or not may not have
it was
been.
standard shipping.
Hmm.
So it probably arrives there today.
Okay, well, we can go take a look, and hopefully it's there already.
Okay, so is that your
Sounds good.
intention? Is
Well,
that
yes,
okay?
that's,
So are you guys exiting the dig site now?
yeah.
That looks
Unless
like
someone
it.
else wants to do something else.
Okay, so you exit the dig site, you take the path back up to the surface so you can head back to your vehicles or your vehicle. I will remind you that your vehicle is hidden behind a billboard parked outside of the dig site and that Maya had to use her security access code to open the fence to get into the dig site, but you did not drive the vehicle into the dig site. As you are walking back towards the vehicle, a white pickup truck comes speeding down the street and hangs a sharp turn into the dig site where the security fence is open. A elderly gentleman, looking like he's probably in his mid to late 50s, jumps out of the driver's seat of the pickup truck. He's dressed in cargo pants and like a white shirt and a vest. So, he's got that archaeological look behind him. He immediately turns his attention to the three of you, specifically Maya.
Do I
And
know him?
oh, you recognize him immediately as being the dig supervisor, Dr. Wilford Barnes. You look at him, he looks at you, and he screams as he comes running in your direction. You have a lot of nerve showing your face here, lady.
Oh
Now,
yeah, well, you
now,
have a lot of questions to answer for me. What are you doing shipping stuff to Uzma? And I've
okay.
got the manifest in my
No,
hand.
that's a fair question. So he stops, he rips the manifest out of your hand, he looks at it, he goes, well, we'll just add theft of dig site materials to the lengthy list of charges that are going to be brought against you. He looks at you and he goes, and you have the nerve to call yourself an archaeologist. He goes,
Oh, well, it's not my name on that manifest. I'm not the one shipping them out, am I?
he looks at you, he looks at the manifest, he crumples the manifest up and he tosses it over his shoulder. He goes, you know full well that Mr. Uzma is the benefactor of this dig. He said, it's too bad when we hired you that we didn't know that your credentials were less than up to snuff. So Maya,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Barnes here is going to invoke an aspect against you, okay?
Okay,
The
right.
truth of what you're hiding is about to come out. Now, you
Okay.
can either use a fate point if you want to try and prevent that from coming out, or
Okay.
you can allow it to happen, and I'm going to award you a fate point. So I am going to invoke an aspect against you, specifically your secret.
Hmm.
Can I just kneecap him and we can keep moving?
Yes, please.
I was going to say, and you say I'm the violent one.
Okay. So hold on.
Hey, I'm not killing him.
So hold on
I'm
here.
just getting him out of the way.
Hold on
I
here.
can grow him a new leg.
Are you going to try and kneecap this guy?
Do I care enough?
That's the
Is the
question.
question.
That's the question, do you? At this point, you and Pete are about to learn something about Maya. Okay, that's the whole point here. Does Maya want this secret to come out into the open? Well, that's up to her.
A, do I care? And B, does it amuse me?
Well, you
Because
just
the question is, because if it amuses me to shoot this guy in the kneecap, right?
you tell me.
You know,
Are you going to take a shot at him or are you going to let the secret come out?
I'm
Sorry,
What are
not
you
doing
going to
it.
are
Well,
you asking me about taking the shot?
no.
No.
No. You and Heinrich seem to have this thing going on where Heinrich wants to shoot the guy in the kneecap, and you seem to be all for it. Now, this guy is about to.
So it doesn't come out.
Yeah, oh, I know exactly why you don't want it to come out. The question
so how much
is.
is it worth to you for me to shoot him in the kneecap?
How much is this whole thing worth to you? Get it over with. So let's move it.
Oh, now you're telling me what to do?
Yes.
I'll let him talk. I'm bored.
Okay.
Then I'll shoot him in the kneecap.
All right. So, Maya, he screams at you. You have a lot of nerve showing yourself here. A renowned family of archaeologists with a proud pedigree, and their daughter lies her way through school, is not the archaeologist she pretends to be. Your degrees, your doctorate aren't worth wiping my ass with. You're
You
a
don't know what you're talking about.
you're a fraud. The news has already come out. We received the proof of your lies from Mr. Uzma. We've already submitted the documentation to the university. Your degree, your credibility, it's worthless. You're done. Get off my dig site. You're no longer welcome here. You're fired. Leave now.
How dare you? You don't show me this proof you're talking about. I don't believe you. When are you gonna cap him, Heinrich?
So, Maya,
Oh, this is interesting.
Maya.
Yes.
So we've just invoked an aspect against you. Pete and Heinrich are now aware that your credibility of as an archaeologist is extremely questionable at best.
Okay.
You've earned a fate point. You can add this to your character sheet. Okay.
Oh,
Uh,
some black keyboard.
Now, he's screaming at you to get off the dig site.
Which is what we're doing anyway, so
Yep.
it's not like a big deal.
So
Yes, exactly.
I highly recommend you make your exit at this point because he's making threats about calling the cops to have you forcefully removed right now.
Okay, bye.
I
Let's
don't
go.
care.
Okay?
How
So,
we
Let's
leave?
head.
yep.
We head over to the car.
So you head over to the car, you jump in the car. Whoever's driving is driving. We'll assume it's Heinrich. Pete's in the passenger seat and you're, taking up the rear. Um, Where are you heading is what I need to know at this point. Are you going to make a play for the farm to make contact with the Brotherhood of Fate, or are you heading back to Dufresne's warehouse to search the
Where?
shipment? Can we
In the
get a...
warehouse, right?
Okay, so Pete's saying the warehouse. Heinrich and Maya, where are you headed?
I'm okay with the warehouse to look for the shipment.
Okay, so the
Yes,
where...
started all of this.
Okay,
All right, let's start at the
so the
warehouse
warehouse
and
it
work our way
is.
there.
All right, so folks, that is where we're going to conclude this session of As Fate Would Have It, which is being presented on the CanGeek Games and Collectibles YouTube channel and the CanGeek Facebook page. I hope you're all enjoying this, both the three of you that are partaking in this story and any of you that are actually watching this. Um, we will not be holding a game session next week. But we will reconvene for a game session in 2 weeks' time, and we will start at the warehouse to see if you can find the medallion in the shipment that was sent to Uzma. Until then, thanks very much for watching, everyone, and stay safe, and talk to y'all later. Ciao for now.
Ciao.